Commander Krell stood at the observation deck of his ship, gazing at the blue-green planet below. Earth. Even from orbit, it looked dangerous. Swirling storm systems, vast oceans, and land masses covered in dense vegetation. His scales tightened against his body, a natural response to danger. "Commander, the final briefing package has arrived," said Lieutenant Mira, approaching with a data tablet. Krell took the tablet with one of his forearms. The Galactic Confederation had recently admitted humans to their alliance of 34 spacefaring species. Now, as part of new diplomatic efforts, Krell had been ordered to visit a human military training facility. Earth. Classification: Deathworld, Category 12. Krell read aloud. How can anything even live on such a planet? Mira's facial membranes pulsed in what Krell recognized as concern. The humans evolved there. They consider it normal. Krell scrolled through the information. Earth's gravity was crushing, nearly twice that of his homeworld. The atmosphere contained corrosive oxygen at levels toxic to most Confederation species. Temperature variations were extreme, and the planet teemed with aggressive microorganisms. And they want me to stay there for 2 full cycles. Krell's voice rose. Has High Command lost their minds? You were specifically requested, Mira reminded him. Your combat record in the border conflicts makes you the ideal representative. Krell sighed. 3 major interstellar conflicts and countless skirmishes had earned him respect across the Confederation. But nothing in his training had prepared him for a diplomatic mission to a planet that could kill him through simple exposure. The facility is called West Point Academy, Mira continued. Humans train their military leaders there. You'll observe their methods and share some of ours. Krell moved to his quarters to prepare, checking his environmental suit. The reinforced protection would be his lifeline on the deadly planet. The suit's filters would process Earth's toxic air, its cooling systems would regulate against temperature extremes, and its gravity compensators would help him function in Earth's crushing pull. Diagnostic complete. All systems optimal, the suit computer announced. As he packed special nutrient solutions that his body could process, Krell reviewed videos of humans. They looked deceptively similar to several Confederation species, bipedal, symmetrical, with 2 arms and 2 eyes. But appearances were deceiving. These creatures could drink water containing minerals that would poison most species. They could survive radiation levels that would kill most Confederation citizens. They could endure temperature ranges that seemed impossible. A message alert sounded. Admiral Toss, his direct superior, appeared on the screen. Commander Krell, are you prepared for your mission? As prepared as possible, Admiral, Krell replied, standing at attention. This assignment is more important than you might realize, the Admiral said. Humans are unusual. They evolved on one of the most hostile planets we've encountered, yet they've developed advanced technology and a complex civilization. Their physical capabilities are concerning, Krell noted. The Admiral's membranes fluttered in agreement. Precisely why we need to understand them better. Are they dangerous? Certainly. But potential allies against the Void Collective? Absolutely. Krell understood the unspoken concern. The Void Collective, a group of expansionist species from the galaxy's outer rim, had been pushing into Confederation territory for decades. New allies were needed, even frightening ones from Deathworlds. Your transport leaves in 3 hours, the Admiral continued. Your primary contact will be Major Kim of their defense forces. Remember, humans are new to interstellar politics. They're eager to impress but unaware of how different they are. After the call ended, Krell finished his preparations. The medical officer provided emergency injections that might keep him alive if his suit failed. The cultural specialist gave last-minute advice on human customs and taboos. They extend their upper limbs to greet each other, the specialist explained. They call it a handshake. It's not an attack gesture. As Krell boarded the small diplomatic vessel that would take him to Earth's surface, Lieutenant Mira gave him a final data update. The West Point Academy is located in a region they call New York, she said. Weather conditions at your arrival time will include precipitation and temperatures lower than our species considers comfortable, even without considering the gravity. Krell settled into the transport's acceleration couch, watching the massive, blue planet grow larger in the viewscreen. Despite his distinguished military career, he felt genuine fear. "The things I do for the Confederation," he muttered as the transport began its descent through Earth's turbulent atmosphere. The vessel shuddered violently. "Normal atmospheric entry for Earth," the pilot called back calmly. "But we'll be on the ground soon, Commander." Krell closed his eyes and wondered what terrors awaited him at the human military academy. The diplomatic shuttle landed with a soft thud on the concrete pad. Commander Krell checked his environment suit readings one last time. All systems showed green, though the external sensors were already warning about Earth's crushing gravity and oxygen-rich atmosphere. "You can do this," he told himself, rising from his seat. The gravity compensators in his suit whined as they fought against Earth's pull. The shuttle door opened with a hiss. Cold air rushed in, carrying water droplets that pinged against Krell's protective visor. The humans called this rain. On his world, liquid falling from the sky was cause for emergency evacuation. A small group of humans waited on the landing pad. They wore dark uniforms with colorful patches and strips of fabric on their chests. None wore protective gear despite the falling water and cold temperature. One human stepped forward. "Commander Krell, welcome to Earth. I'm Major Kim, your liaison, during your stay at West Point." Krell performed the greeting gesture he had practiced. "I extend appreciation for your welcome, Major Kim." The human smiled, showing teeth. Not a threat display as it would be on Krell's world, but a sign of friendliness. Major Kim was shorter than Krell, with dark hair cut short against the skull. Like all humans, the Major had only 2 arms, and walked with an upright posture that seemed inefficient. "Let's get you inside. This weather must be uncomfortable for you," Major Kim said, gesturing toward a large stone building. "This weather would kill most Confederation species without protection," Krell replied honestly. The humans exchanged glances. "It's just a light spring rain," said another human, whose uniform identified him as Captain Lee. As they walked, Krell noticed young humans running in formation across an open field, wearing minimal clothing despite the rain. They moved with ease under Earth's punishing gravity, their bodies seemingly unbothered by the moisture soaking their outer coverings. "Are those Special Forces soldiers?" Krell asked, his translator hopefully conveying his awe. Major Kim laughed. "No, those are first-year cadets doing their morning exercise, basic training." Inside the building, Krell's sensors detected slightly warmer air but still dangerously high oxygen levels. The humans led him through corridors lined with images of past battles and old human military leaders. "We've prepared a schedule for your visit," Major Kim explained. "Tomorrow, you'll observe cadet training, attend tactical classes, and tour our combat simulation facilities. We've adjusted some activities so you can participate if you wish." Captain Lee added, "We're particularly interested in your perspective on our space combat doctrine, since humans have limited experience in that area." They arrived at a door which Major Kim opened. "These will be your quarters during your stay. We've installed atmospheric adjustments based on the specifications your government provided." The room was simple but large enough for Krell's frame. A machine hummed in the corner, presumably altering the deadly air to something closer to his homeworld's composition. "You should be able to remove your suit in this room only," Major Kim explained. "The bathroom facilities have been modified for your physiology, and we've stocked nutrient solutions compatible with your digestive system." Krell was touched by these accommodations. "You have shown great consideration. We'll leave you to rest. Dinner is scheduled for 1900 hours in the officers' mess. We can bring food here if you prefer not to eat with humans," Captain Lee offered. "I will join you," Krell decided. This mission is about understanding each other. After the humans left, Krell carefully removed his environment suit in the safety of his quarters. His body expanded slightly, relieved from the constant pressure of Earth's gravity. The air felt thin but breathable. He moved to the window and looked out at the training grounds where young humans continued their exercises despite the worsening rain. A group now climbed ropes using only their upper limbs, ascending to heights that would result in fatal falls. Krell activated his personal recorder. Day 1 on Earth. The humans appear completely unaware of their extraordinary physical capabilities. What we would consider survival conditions, they call mild weather. What we would consider feats of strength, they consider basic training. He watched as an instructor demonstrated combat moves to a group of cadets. The human moved with shocking speed, throwing another human to the ground with ease before helping them up to try again. Most concerning of all, Krell continued recording, they seem genuinely excited about my visit. They don't realize that from my perspective I'm surrounded by creatures who could tear me apart without technological assistance. He turned from the window as lightning flashed across the sky. Thunder that followed would have triggered panic on his world. Here no one even looked up. I begin to understand why High Command wanted first-hand observation, Krell muttered to himself. These humans aren't just on a Deathworld. They are Deathworlders, and they don't even know it. Commander Krell stood at the edge of a large, open field, his environment suit humming as it worked overtime to keep him comfortable. The morning sun beat down, already too bright and hot by his standards. Before him, rows of human cadets stood at attention. Today we demonstrate standard physical conditioning, Instructor Park explained. He was a compact human with a loud voice that needed no amplification. These cadets will run 10 kilometers while carrying 20-kilogram packs. Krell's translator must have malfunctioned. 10 kilometers? In this gravity? With added weight? Yes, standard morning exercise, Park confirmed with a casual nod. Would you like to observe from the vehicle or from the endpoint? Krell chose the endpoint. No need to stress his suit's systems by trying to keep pace with superhuman endurance. As the vehicle transported him to the finish area, he watched through the window as the cadets began their run, moving with easy strides despite the crushing gravity and heavy packs. Do any fail this exercise? Krell asked the driver. Sometimes, a cadet falls behind. They get extra training until they can keep up. Extra training, not medical evacuation. Not death. Krell made a note in his recorder. At the next demonstration, Krell watched in horror as cadets plunged into cold water, their bodies instantly soaked in the liquid that would dissolve the protective coating on his skin. The water is only 10 degrees Celsius, Instructor Han explained. Cold enough to test them, but not dangerous. Not dangerous. Krell's 4 hearts beat rapidly. On his world, immersion in 10-degree water would mean certain death from temperature. Shock alone, not to mention the chemical damage. They must swim across wearing full gear, Han continued. If they panic, instructors will help them, but panicking means failing the test. A cadet emerged from the water, dripping and shivering, but smiling. Krell couldn't understand how the human was still alive, much less happy. After lunch, where Krell watched humans casually consuming plants and animals that his scanners identified as containing compounds toxic to most Confederation species, they moved to combat training. In a large room with padded floors, humans practiced fighting without weapons. They threw each other to the ground with shocking force. They struck each other with blows that Krell's suit calculated would break his bones. After each violent exchange, they simply got up and continued. Commander Krell, called out a female cadet named Min. Would you honor us by demonstrating a combat technique from your world? All eyes turned to him. Krell felt trapped. Our fighting styles are adapted to different gravity and physiology. We understand, said Major Kim, who had been accompanying Krell throughout the day. Perhaps just a basic move? We're eager to learn. Reluctantly, Krell agreed to demonstrate a simple defensive stance. He selected Cadet Min as his partner, believing the smaller human might use less force. I will be very careful, Min promised, seeming to understand his concern. Krell took position, compensating for Earth's gravity. In our combat training, this is a standard defense against frontal attack. Min approached slowly. Krell moved to deflect as he would against an opponent of his species. What happened next became a blur. Despite his suit's enhancements, Min easily broke through his defense. Before he could react, she had gripped his arm and used his own momentum to flip him. Krell found himself looking up at the ceiling, his suit alarms blaring. The room fell silent. Then Min extended a hand to help him up. I'm so sorry, Commander, I tried to be gentle. Krell accepted the help, his pride more damaged than his body. No apology needed. You demonstrated superior technique. The humans applauded, not mocking but seemingly impressed by his willingness to participate. Major Kim nodded with approval. Few visitors participate in physical training. You've earned respect today. Later, the demonstrations moved to what humans called survival training. Cadets were placed in simulated hostile environments with minimal equipment. One room mimicked desert conditions with extreme heat. Another created freezing mountain scenarios. Cadets entered these chambers wearing simple clothing, expected to survive for hours. These environments match real conditions where our forces might operate, explained Instructor Park. Without environmental protection, Krell asked, unable to hide his disbelief. Protective gear can fail. Park shrugged. Our people must be able to survive when technology doesn't help them. As the day ended, Krell returned to his quarters, exhausted from simply observing. He carefully removed his suit in the safety of his modified room and recorded his observations. The humans train as if their bodies are fragile, requiring conditioning and practice, he dictated. They do not realize that by Confederation standards, they are already living weapons. What they consider basic training would qualify as extreme endurance trials for our most elite forces. He paused, reflecting on his humbling experience in the combat room. Most concerning of all, he added, they seem to have no idea of their potential in interstellar warfare. They prepare for survival in harsh conditions, without recognizing that they themselves are the most terrifying element in most environments. The Confederation must carefully consider the implications of human military capabilities. On the fourth day of his visit, Commander Krell joined Major Kim and two cadets named Tae and Sue for a tour of the underground training facilities. His environment suit felt heavier than usual as they descended in an elevator, moving deeper, beneath the academy grounds. These bunkers simulate combat in confined spaces, Major Kim explained as the elevator stopped. They were built during the old Cold War, but we've updated them with modern technology. The underground complex stretched through a series of tunnels and rooms. Some areas contained virtual reality combat simulators. Others held physical obstacle courses designed to test cadets in darkness and tight spaces. This section recreates urban warfare scenarios, Cadet Tae explained, pointing to a mock city street built entirely underground. We train here for operations in hostile cities. Krell examined the facility with professional interest. Impressive. The Confederation has similar training environments, though adapted for various member species' physiologies. As they moved deeper into the complex, Krell's suit sensors detected a slight change in air pressure. He thought nothing of it until a low rumble vibrated through the floor. What was that? He asked, his 4 hearts beating faster. Major Kim looked slightly concerned. Probably just before she could finish, the entire facility shook violently. Lights flickered, dust fell from the ceiling. The rumbling grew louder until it became a roar. Earthquake, shouted Cadet Sue, already moving toward Krell. Commander, we need to... The ceiling collapsed between them and the exit. Concrete chunks crashed down, blocking the tunnel. The main lights failed, plunging them into darkness before emergency. Red lighting activated. Krell's suit alarms blared warnings about external pressure changes and potential integrity breaches. He fought rising panic as he realized they were trapped underground on a Deathworld. Status report, Major Kim called out calmly. Everyone okay? I'm fine, Major, Tae responded, brushing dust from his uniform. Same here, added Sue. No injuries. Commander. Krell? Kim asked. Functioning, Krell managed to say, though his voice sounded strained even to himself. My suit reports no damage. Major Kim nodded. Good, this section is reinforced, so we should be safe from further collapse. Safe? Krell couldn't believe the humans' calm. We are buried underground. Just trapped temporarily, Kim corrected. Standard procedure is to wait for rescue teams. They'll dig us out. Cadet Tae was examining the collapsed tunnel. Major, the main support beam is holding, but these concrete sections are unstable, and I smell gas. Krell's suit confirmed the cadet's assessment. Toxic gas was seeping into their section. His external sensors identified it as containing carbon monoxide and other compounds lethal to most species. The gas line must have ruptured, Major Kim said, now looking more concerned. Change of plans, we need to find another way out. My suit detects 3 possible exits, Krell offered, checking his sensors, all blocked by debris. Major Kim considered this information. Then we make our own exit. Cadets, we're going to dig through the north tunnel. It's the shortest path to the surface. Krell stared in disbelief as the humans began moving rubble with their bare hands. The structural integrity is compromised, and the air is becoming toxic. That's why we need to move quickly, Sue replied, already lifting a concrete chunk that Krell's suit calculated would require mechanical assistance on his world. As they worked, the gas concentration increased. Krell's suit filtered it out, but he noticed the humans beginning to cough. Your respiratory systems are being damaged, he warned. We should wait for properly equipped rescue teams. No time, Major Kim said between coughs. The gas concentration will reach dangerous levels before help arrives. Tay nodded in agreement. We can handle it for now, keep digging. Krell joined their efforts, his suit's servos straining under the load of shifting debris. After 20 minutes of work, they had cleared a small tunnel through the rubble. Suddenly, Krell's suit integrity alarm blared. A sharp piece of metal had punctured his outer layer. Warning indicators flashed across his visor. Atmosphere containment compromised. Earth's toxic air began seeping in. Krell froze in terror, knowing that even brief exposure could cause permanent damage to his respiratory system. Commander's suit is breached. Sue called out, noticing his distress. Without hesitation, Major Kim pulled an emergency oxygen mask from her belt. It was designed for humans, but she quickly adapted it to fit over the damaged section of Krell's suit. This will buy us time, she said, her voice now raspy from the gas. Keep digging. You need this more than I do, Krell protested, seeing her face turning an alarming shade. Our physiology can tolerate lower oxygen levels than yours, she insisted, returning to work. Krell watched in amazement as the 3 humans continued digging despite obvious discomfort. They took turns holding their breath, working in shifts while the others recovered. Their strength seemed undiminished even as the air grew more poisonous. Finally, Tay broke through to a maintenance shaft that led upward. Found a way out, Azuri. They helped each other climb through the narrow passage. Krell's final suit filter failed. He gasped involuntarily, drawing in Earth's raw atmosphere. Pain seared through his chest. Major Kim immediately noticed. Without a word, she pressed her oxygen mask directly against Krell's face opening, giving him her last reserve. Just a few more meters, she wheezed. Stay with us, Commander. The last thing Krell remembered before losing consciousness was the incredible sight of these humans, poisoned and exhausted, carrying his much heavier body up towards safety, refusing to leave him behind in conditions that should have already killed them all. Commander Krell sat at the desk in his quarters, aboard the Confederation vessel Distant Light. The ship had been in orbit around Earth for 3 days since his emergency evacuation from the planet's surface. Medical staff had treated his exposure to Earth's atmosphere, repairing the damage to his respiratory system. Physically, he had recovered. Mentally, he was still processing what he had witnessed. On the screen before him glowed the partially completed official report to Galactic Confederation High Command. Krell had been staring at it for hours, struggling to find words that would convey the true nature of humans without causing panic throughout the Confederation. Computer, continue recording, he said finally. Section 4. Assessment of human military capabilities. He paused, organizing his thoughts. Humans have evolved on a planet that would be lethal to most Confederation species. This environment has produced beings with physical capabilities that far exceed our standard classifications. What humans consider normal, we would consider extraordinary. What they consider challenging, we would consider impossible. Krell recalled the incident in the underground facility. How Major Kim had shared her oxygen without hesitation. How cadets, Tay and Sue, had moved rubble that should have required lifting equipment. How all 3 had continued functioning in toxic air that would have killed most species instantly. Their standard military training includes exposure to conditions that would be fatal to most Confederation species. They routinely endure atmospheric toxins, temperature extremes, high-gravity physical exertion, and impact forces that would cause critical damage to other species. He added footage from his suit's recording system, showing cadets running 10 kilometers with heavy packs, swimming in near-freezing water, and fighting with forces that could shatter Confederation exoskeletons. Most significantly, humans appear, completely unaware of their exceptional nature. They believe they are physically fragile and require extensive training to survive harsh conditions. They do not realize that by Confederation standards they are already elite survival specialists, simply by existing. Krell paused the recording, remembering how Cadet Min had flipped him effortlessly, despite trying to be gentle. The memory still embarrassed him, but it was crucial evidence. Computer, attach combat training recording, timestamp 1432 to 1458. He continued dictating. Regarding tactical applications, humans show remarkable potential for operations on Class 812 planets. Environments that would require extensive life support for our current forces could be navigated by humans with minimal or no protective equipment. Their natural capabilities make them ideal for missions where technology might fail or be unavailable. Krell hesitated before adding his most controversial observation. It is my professional assessment that a single company of human soldiers could, if properly motivated, overcome a standard Confederation battalion in ground combat under many planetary conditions. Their speed, strength, endurance, and ability to function in hostile environments give them advantages that our current tactical doctrine does not account for. He sat back, considering the implications of what he was reporting. The Confederation had never encountered a species with such natural military potential. The Void Collective, pushing at their borders, certainly hadn't either. Recommendation 1. Immediately integrate human units into Confederation Special Forces, focusing on missions in extreme environments. Recommendation 2. Revise Confederation defense protocols to account for human physical capabilities. Recommendation 3. Establish cultural exchange programs to strengthen bonds between humans and other Confederation species. Krell added a personal note. Despite my initial concerns, I must emphasize that humans showed no signs of aggressive intent toward the Confederation. In fact, during the underground incident, 3 humans risked their lives to save mine, despite having known me for only 4 days. Their instinct to protect even a foreign visitor speaks well of their potential as allies. He ended the formal report and began a separate encrypted message for Admiral Toss. Admiral, beyond my official findings, I must share a personal observation. The humans' greatest strength isn't their physical capability, but their complete unawareness of how extraordinary they are. They view the universe as a threatening place that they must struggle to survive in. They don't realize that to most species, they are the threat. This gives us a diplomatic advantage, but also a responsibility. We must help them understand their place in the Confederation without causing them to become arrogant or aggressive. Their potential as allies against the Void Collective is enormous, but so is the danger if they ever feel threatened by us. As Krell finalized his report, across the planet in a secure facility, Major Kim was completing her own assessment. The Confederation representative showed remarkable adaptability to Earth conditions, she wrote. Despite Commander Krell's obvious physical limitations in our environment, he demonstrated courage and professional interest in our training methods. His species appears to have evolved in low-gravity, low-oxygen conditions with minimal temperature variation. Yet they have achieved interstellar travel and formed a successful multi-species alliance. She added her final recommendation. Earth Defense Force Command should consider establishing a permanent training facility on Krell's homeworld. Our assessment classifies it as mild gravity, comfortable temperature range, and ideal atmospheric composition for human respiration. It would make an excellent location for off-world human colonization and military bases. She submitted the report, unaware that her assessment of Krell's challenging homeworld had classified it as a paradise by human standards, just as Krell's report had classified Earth as a nightmare by Confederation standards. The misunderstanding was mutual and complete.